Yes, thank you so much for asking. So my website is bebrilliantmovement.com. So it's like bebrilliantmovement.com. They can go there. If some people are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, there's a quiz there they can take. It says what type of entrepreneur lives within you. So they can find me there. And then where I'm really active is in my private Facebook group, and that's called Embrace Your Brilliance, Discover Your Freedom. Embrace your brilliance, discover your freedom.
Radio.
Got it. That's perfect. So, hi, how are you?
I'm great. Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I've been doing a few research about you, and you do a lot, right? It's like you're a very busy woman. Let me not spoil the surprises. I will let you to introduce yourself.
Okay.
Tell us what you do, and most especially where you're from, please.
Okay, well, I'll start where I'm from. I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the U.S. That's where I'm originally from. I live just outside of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, right now. And my name is Angela Durant. I'm a brand strategist. I am the creator of the Legacy Brand Workshop and Method, and I'm the founder of the Be Brilliant movement, where I help incredible professionals and brave entrepreneurs build their brands and their businesses from the inside out so that they show up really powerfully, both in business and in life. And that's what I do.
Nice. Perfect. Spot on answer. And you can see from the way you answered and introduced yourself, you enjoy what you do, especially when you talk about the business side of things. You lit up even more, even though you were already lit. That was possible. So suppose that leads me to my first question. How long have you been doing this for?
Wow. So I've been in business since 2013. But it's interesting because I believe that we bring, our body of work, our experiences to the present, right? To the table. So when you say how long have I been doing it, my background, originally my career was in corporate America. I worked for all the big hotel brands, you name it. I ran one of their hotels. So I was a hotel general manager. I was also a regional trainer, and I did a lot of leadership development, mentoring, and coaching in that arena. I don't know that I labeled it as such, but those are the things that I did, along with being a director of sales. And I brought all those transferable skills into my business. So I've been officially an LLC since 2013, but I went full time as an entrepreneur in 2019, just before COVID hit.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Natural progression I'm sure people are like, how did you find it? Started business and then COVID hit. Yeah, how did you find that?
It was actually incredible because I had already started work. I had started in 2013. I started taking on clients, right? And my business was always, for the most part, virtual. So I worked with clients via Zoom, via the internet anyway. When I would show up in person would be if I was doing a retreat or a leadership conference, or someone had me come be a speaker at their events. Then I was live in person. But aside from that, the way that I worked with my clients was always virtual. So I think I was really blessed in that because I was prepared for the pandemic. And many of the people who do work like I do told me that over the last 2 years, their businesses have exploded. Like they've had more business and more opportunities than ever before. So I just count it a blessing. I just feel like I was just in the right place at the right time to do what I'm doing.
That is amazing because, the beauty of technology and the fact that you've tapped into that before you all started, you were just way ahead of time, really.
Yeah. And I will say, if I can just add to that, I would say that in the US, African-American women and Black women as a whole hold more degrees than anyone, but they are severely underpaid, right? They're not paid. If you compare us to our white counterpart, male counterpart, we make like 64, 65 cents on the dollar. And what I always say is that because of the internet, because of technology, like you're saying, it's opened a door of opportunity for all of us, but especially for women of color who are underpaid. Now they get to write their own paychecks, right? They get to create, they get to leverage the skill sets that they already have, that they've learned from their jobs, and bring those into their own businesses. It's a great opportunity.
Oh, that is absolutely amazing because I actually never thought about it in that perspective before, that actually the internet made it a level playing field.
It's totally a level playing field, totally.
It's what you've got. Well, I suppose, and how much you back it, really, but you bring, nobody thinks, oh yeah, you're this color, you're that color, you're this. Well, if anything, the beautiful Black skin shines even more. They're like, oh, I've got to play that, I've got to check that out. So
yeah, I would say at the end of the day, people are buying solutions, right? They want to know that you can solve their problems. And, so many women and men too I believe that everybody was born brilliant. Like there's something that you have, you may call it your skills, you may call it your talent, you may call it your gifts. We call it your brilliance on our campus. We call it your brilliance. I believe that everybody has that. So it's like you have seed in your hand, and you just need to understand that you're really valuable. And when you're in a job, they understand, scripture says that your gift will make room for you, right? So what I like to say is that whatever companies you work for, they like your gift, right? They're excited about your gift, right? But your gift goes with you wherever you go. So whether you decide you want to work a full-time job and use your gift there because you love that work that you're doing, or you want to build a business on the side, leveraging your gifts, it just opens up a lot of opportunity.
No, absolutely. No, that is, yeah, no, I second that. And I think it brings me on to my next bit, really, about, so reading it all about being an escape artist. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not going to read this whole paragraph yet. I'm going to wait till after the interview, because I've got to hear it from your mouth. Please tell us about this escape artist.
Okay, so I always say that, I'm the chief escape artist of my company. And in that, people say, escape artist, what do you mean? Did you say escape artist? And yes, I help the people that I work with, I help them escape the beliefs that are limiting them. I help them escape the thinking and the stories that have them stuck. And I help them escape the environments that want them to play small, right? So when we work together, we bring out like that magic that lives within every one of them so that they can show up really powerfully, both in business and in life. But sometimes what limits us, what shackles us, is our thinking. So that's why I refer to myself as an escape artist.
No, that is absolutely spot on.
You did
As you
your
said,
research. You did your research.
well, I try. And the take home from that really is that thing that a lot of the time what's stopping you is actually just in your head. Um,
Right.
there's a picture of this. There's a plastic chair, and then there's a big horse, and it's tied to this plastic chair by a rope,
Mhm.
and it just stays there. And then the caption goes, "Sometimes your limit is all just in your head." And I thought, oh wow, because they could actually just carry that all day long, but he just felt, this is where I belong, this is where I've been put, and this is where I stay. So
Yeah.
that is really great. I'm
Mhm.
blessed. I
I
thank
love
God for your
that. I
life.
love that. I love that because it's so true, right? Like if
Mm,
you've been conditioned to think a certain way your whole life, if you were conditioned to think that the only way for you to survive is to, choose this path, but there are so many different paths available to you, and you strengthen these muscles over time so you can do so much. But if you don't know that, then you'll stay. And that was my story. I worked for a company for 15 years. And it came to a point where I had a boss who really had his foot on my neck. Like he really was trying to dominate me and control me. And I don't work well in that kind of situation. And behind closed doors, he was saying things to me that were not appropriate. And eventually he fired me. But I was like doing everything, like trying to hold on to not lose the job because I wanted to be able to pay my mortgage. I wanted to be able to pay my car note. Like I was afraid, like, what am I going to do if he fires me? And that's exactly what he did. He fired me. And then in that day, in that moment, I realized, because I ended up getting an interview that same day and getting another job and made almost twice what I made there. But my thinking was what was keeping me on that job. Like my thinking was like, you need to hold on to this with everything you got because
yeah.
out there is scary. The unknown is scary, and it could be worse. You could be worse
Mm,
off. And I know, and I challenge myself and I challenge my clients to think about not only where you are, but the possibilities that are available to you out there, right? It might seem scary because you don't know it for sure. There's no certainty. But in that moment, when he fired me, I realized that I had attached my identity to the job. Like every time I got promoted, I felt good about myself. And people said, well, what do you do? What do you do? I'm like, oh, I run hotels for a living. That was my identity until he snatched the rug from underneath me. And then I was like, who am I without this job? Right. So in that moment, I realized I never want to be in a position where anybody has control over my fate, my finances, whether or not I can pay my mortgage. Even if I work in a job, my mentality will be different. And I learned that no matter where you go, no matter what you do, you take your brilliance with you. So what was valuable was I already had it. I always had it, but I didn't know I had it. And I had given my power over to a job and saying that was my identity. But that wasn't who I was. That was what I did, but it wasn't who I be as a person.
mm. No, that's a really positive answer. It really does get even me thinking like, yeah, you know, um, because yeah, I went through a similar thing where the job was saying, okay, this is what we want from you, and I'm saying, well, I can't actually give you that because it's not good for my own mental health. And they're going, well, what you've got to do it. It's either that or the highway. So I'm like, okay, the highway then. And
Right.
and within a few days, I didn't even apply for the job. I got called to come for the interview and got the job.
I
So
love that.
sometimes, if they say somebody, so well, I'm from Nigeria, so we used to sleep on
Ah,
mats, right?
my roots
And
are
they
in
say,
Nigeria. My
nice.
roots, my roots are in Nigeria. Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect. So they
But I
say if
love,
somebody take
I
the
love,
mat, that
yes,
God
right from
will give
underneath
you.
you.
Yeah, they say God will give you a smooth carpet. So this is it.
Oh, I love it. That's so great. I had a conversation right before the 2019, when I just was, I'm going to go full time. I would have these conversations as I drove to work every day with a cousin of mine. And I would say, oh, today is the day I need to leave this job. I need to pursue my business full time. I need to go all in. And she would say, wait, no, don't, calm down, like, and talk me out of it. She would say, just wait, save up more money, just wait, give it more thought. And then I would wait. And then one day I said to her, we often focus on what we have to lose. Like, well, if I give up this job without having something, like, what could happen to me? I said, but it's rare that we think about what it is we have to gain in the transition. And I said, what if every month I stay here, I'm losing money? What if that there's an opportunity out there for me where I can earn even more for my family than where I am now? And every month I stay here, I'm losing that. And she was like, oh, I never thought about it. And that was really the day that I decided to go. And is it scary? Yeah. I mean, it can be, because it's not certain. I always say the life of an entrepreneur is really a faith walk, right? That you believe that you're called to do this work and that the universe will rise up to meet you, right? Because sometimes you don't know, right? But after going full time, in one month, I was able to generate, it was 32 days. It took me 32 days and I generated 46,000 US. And I said, well, I never made this money on a job. And I said to myself, I'm glad that I made that decision, because everybody benefits,
Yeah. That is absolutely it's a great story, and I'm happy. It's like a happy ending. It's like a Disney story. So, obviously, you said you started in 2019, but your background has always been in business.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did you is that all what you've always wanted to do as a kid, or? I know, well, back home, they used to, you're either a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. If you're not one of those three, yeah, go back to school and study.
That's right. Well, I thought at one point I thought I would become an engineer. But I didn't until in my 20s, I didn't think about entrepreneurship until I started surrounding myself with other entrepreneurs. And I had little side businesses going, and I started getting people to work with me, like building a team on the side. And I was like, this is pretty cool. But the other thing that I learned is that I was able to leverage what I had learned in corporate, in working for companies. I was like, I'm tooled up with all these skills on how to lead teams, how to, do consulting, how to mitigate, confrontation, and all those things, how to deliver great customer service. All those things can be transferred right into, your own business. So I had all kinds of crazy businesses before this, but I think it was just kind of my path. Like I knew I wanted to work for the company that I originally started working for in hospitality was like a boutique brand. So they allowed a lot of freedom within the company. Like their philosophy was, don't ask for permission, beg for forgiveness if you don't get it right. Like if you do something wrong, if you make a decision, they encouraged us to make a decision. So I think the spirit of an entrepreneur was always in me, because I enjoyed those kind of work environments where people weren't micromanaging you, where they just trust your judgment and you can run the establishment like it's your own. I thrived in that kind of environment. So I guess I was like an intrapreneur. They call it an intrapreneur. So that I always loved. When they brought in a new boss, and I don't know if you've ever had a boss that was just difficult, but he was just difficult. And he was like smothering me. And in that environment, I didn't do well.
No, that is that's a truly felt story. You answered my question to the T. And before we kind of go to find
Mhm.
the main bits, where are those places where we can go and find out a lot more about you? You know, the
Oh.
social media sites, the websites,
Oh,
where are these?
thank you. Yes, thank you so much for asking. So my website is bebrilliantmovement.com. So it's like bebrilliantmovement.com. They can go there. If some people are thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, there's a quiz there they can take. It says what type of entrepreneur lives within you. So they can find me there. And then where I'm really active is in my private Facebook group, and that's called Embrace Your Brilliance, Discover Your Freedom. Embrace your brilliance, discover your freedom. And that's where I teach. Every week I come in and I teach. I ask my audience, what they want to learn around branding, business, leadership, or legacy. And so if any of those topics are of interest to them, they come in and we do training, and I show up live and I interact and answer questions. So that's a great place for them to connect with me.
That's perfect. Well, we'll be there to follow and subscribe. Because for us, we work with so I suppose where we come in really is we work with independent artists.
Mhm.
So these are entrepreneurs with just special talents.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be sure to share it with them to go and learn more about business. You're not even too old or or too knowledgeable to learn more about business, especially about
Sure.
this. So
Absolutely. And I would say for creatives, like I have a heart for entrepreneurs, because it takes guts to be an entrepreneur, right? To build what you're building and what your followers are doing. Like it takes bravery, courage to do that. And so the way we help them is like I have an international team. So I have, a web developer who's out of the Netherlands. I've got a designer who's in Croatia. I have a sales team in UK. So they're everywhere. But the way we support them is really in helping them build out a brand that helps them get seen, heard, and hired, right? So making sure their messaging is right, making sure the look and feel of their brand is right, making sure that their target audience is right. Because sometimes creatives, they know how to do their thing, but they might not, know a lot about sales or know a lot about really putting themselves out there and getting noticed. And they should be, because they're hidden, right? Scripture says that light should never be hidden, that nobody lights a candle and puts it under a basket or a bushel, but they place it on a stand so it gives light to everybody in the house, right? And so, these talented people, we need to see them, we need to hear them, we need them in our lives. And so I hope that, our company can be helpful in being a vehicle to help them do that.
absolutely. Yep. We'll be sure to send it to all of them and go, hey guys, there you go.
Thank
So
you so much.
let's digress a little bit.
Mhm,
When you're not being busy, not
mhm,
doing business talks,
mhm,
writing, and when you're not doing this, what do
mhm.
you do to just
Do I like to just chill? Yes, I do. I'm big on like family. I love spending time with my family. And my husband and I have a little boy we affectionately call Duke. He just turned 12. And one of the greatest joys that I received recently is that I had the opportunity to take him with me. I went on a business trip to Dubai, and he's never been out of the country. And it just happened to coincide with his birthday. So I was able to take him with me to experience, a whole new world. And so I love doing things like that. I love traveling, taking many little trips with my family. And I love to read and spend time with my girlfriends. I feel like I'm a girly girl, so I love to do things like that. And I'm a big movie buff. I love watching movies too.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
So what's the oh no, actually, maybe we shouldn't ask that. We don't want to be promoting a movie. I don't say what's the latest.
Okay.
We'll leave that. We'll
Okay.
leave that.
All
That's
right.
it. All right. So, okay, let me ask this is my favorite random question, right?
Okay.
That because I love food. That if you were a dish, now you do.
Wait, if I were you said if I were a dish,
you were a dish.
Okay.
With all, the inspirational talks, we've been an escape artist. So if we bring all that cocktail together and make a dish, what food will it be? And why? What sort of spices can we find in it?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. That's a tough question. If I were a dish, I've never had anybody ask me that before. What would I be? Okay. First thing that comes to mind is I'd be a Caribbean dish. I would be curry chicken or oxtail with rice and peas and some really sweet plantains, right? And why? And it would have to have a kick to it. It have to have some kind of kick spice to it. Because I would say the reason why is because that it's comforting. So, and I like to think that that's how I make the people that I work with feel. It has a side of sweet. I can be spicy, but I also, very kind and very sweet, I believe. So that's where the plantains come in, and very satisfying. and once you have a little bit of the dish, you want to keep coming back for more.
Till you're falling asleep on the plate.
That's right.
So you're full.
That's right.
So
that's funny.
Let's come back into business. So what is in the pipeline? I know you say people can come and join you on Facebook and join on your chat. But what's the next big thing in your projects?
So thank you for asking that question, because it's really interesting. We listen to our audience, right? And so we have signature products that we offer. We have a 1-year business intensive for people who want to really transition and work with us on building their brand, helping them market, and then helping them with sales. So all the things that I shared with you earlier that I leverage from my career. But what we're doing right now is people have heard me share stories, and they said, oh, you're such a great storyteller. How do you do that? How do you tell these stories? And great stories are building blocks for anyone who's a speaker, a teacher, a trainer, a mentor, even yourself, And so we decided, a colleague of mine and I decided to create an intensive, a 5-week intensive just around storytelling. Plato said that those who tell stories rule society, right? So, so we have created that. We haven't even posted the landing page yet, and people are raising their hands and giving us their credit cards to sign up, right? So that is what's happening. It's starting in April. It's going to be 5 weeks with us live, teaching them. And by the end, we help them craft their signature stories. They get to practice them, role play them, get feedback. If we evaluate the talk and tell them where they can make it better, more powerful. And so that's something we're very, very excited about, because we've never done it before. But our audience said, can you help us with that? We don't feel like we're that great at storytelling. So we said yes, and we're creating that now.
Oh, that's amazing. So where do we get to sign up for this?
So if they come to my private Facebook group, it's called Embrace Your Brilliance, Discover Your Freedom. We're going to be posting information that my team is creating all the assets for that now. So they'll start to see the landing page where they can sign up. They can always direct message me if they have questions about it, like how does it work? What do I do? What is it going to cover? They can do that now. They can direct message Angela Durant inside of Facebook, and I'll be sure to give them all the details. But and they'll be able to sign up for that. Especially, communication is vital in any industry that you're in, but especially for entrepreneurs and creatives who are like, oh, I just want to go into my lab and do my work, but it's important. And even for people who, like your audience, who might be professionals and they might be either interviewing to land a job. What I found is that with all the jobs all the interviews I've ever done, I've always brought in stories because the brain is wired for story. Right. And so if they interview me and they interview 5 other people and the other people don't tell stories, they just answer the question, I'm going to be more memorable and have a higher chance of landing the job. So yeah, so they can come over and DM me if they're interested in joining. Be happy to give them information. Would love to have members of your audience in our class.
Oh, that would be amazing. I'll be there signing up myself.
Would love to have you.
So just before, as we're kind of wrapping up, I feel this question actually does fit.
Okay.
So would you rather have what you know right now, or you knew it back in kindergarten when you first started, or everything you will learn for the rest of your life, you know it right now?
Wait, would I like to have what I already knew and stop my learning today and just live the rest of my life based on what I know? Or would I like to have what's to come?
So if I go back to kindergarten, knowing everything you ever know that you know right now, or you know them now from kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
Or you're there right now, and everything you will ever know will just come to you right now, and you just carry on living your life. You already know everything. Which one would you choose?
I don't know. That's a tough question. That's so tough because I feel like we never stop learning. I feel like I'm always a student. And I love all the ups and downs of what my life has been so far. It's given me great stories to tell, right? But I'm excited about what God has for me in the future. So I don't know. I'm open to learning what's to come. I know I'm not giving you the answer. I can't make a choice on that because I love, the memories that I have and the lessons that I've learned, even the tough ones. And I think I was kind of a hard-headed kid. Like, even though my mom would say, don't do that, sometimes I would do it because I had to just learn it for myself, So I need to be open to what is coming because I feel like I'm always a student. Like, I learned just from you, like watching you interview. I've interviewed with so many people and none of them are the same. And you're very kind and generous and you make me feel very comfortable. And so that's a skill, right? I'm like, wow, he's in a very nuanced way. He makes his guests feel so comfortable. Like, what can I learn from that? Right. So I'm just open. I'm open. And sometimes I go into class and people say, you could teach this class. And I'm like, no, I'm a student here. I'm here to learn.
That's a great answer. Just right there, still in between. and I think that is, that's the safest answer.
That's a tricky one.
I leave you to go and ponder about that.
Yes, I'm going to ask my husband. I'm going to ask my husband that question tonight too.
So as we're wrapping up, what would you like to say to all your viewers? It's a closing remark.
I would just like to say, number one, I want to say to you, thank you so much for having me here. It's very kind and generous for you to allow me on your platform. I like to say that, we really take a stand for people owning themselves, and being in a position to buy the freedom of others. That's what we take a stand for. We want to see you, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're an entrepreneur, we want to see people thrive in that, and really live the lives that they want to, we want it to be their choice. And so we're here, we're always taking a stand for that. And we believe that people can be bold, they can be brave, and that they are really brilliant.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. So that is great. Would like to say thank you so much for coming on the show. You know how busy it is to fit us in your schedule. That's just very amazing. And we'll be sure to catch you on Facebook. Thank you so much for coming. Until then, take care.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Bye.
Bye.
Power Ace Radio.